Trust your personal power. That's all one has in this whole mysterious world. Life flourishes when it contains power. After all, personal power is the foundation of life. But why then do we lack it so much? Because we have refused to believe that power exists and because we have stopped trusting it. The enigmatic 20th century writer Carlos Castaneda, during his apprenticeship with the Nagual Don Juan Matus, learned that the presence of power is a direct consequence of a person's profound faith that the world is much larger than ordinary human understanding. And by faith, Don Juan wasn't referring to religious preferences. In Castaneda's world, faith is a way to influence life and change reality at will. For many, the very idea of attracting power into life seems like a fantasy and a fairy tale. But during his apprenticeship, Carlos Castaneda discovered the secret. Power is, in fact, a manifestation of reality in every person's life. Therefore, personal power is a real phenomenon in the world, and it truly exists. Castaneda himself became convinced of this when he was revealed a secret and effective practice for attracting power, consisting of 3 stages which can be used by anyone, regardless of their level of preparation or condition. By applying this practice and following all 3 stages, you can accumulate personal power, restore your free energy, develop discipline, and regain complete control over your life. All of this will undoubtedly positively impact your quality of life, health, and financial well-being. Get comfortable and get ready to listen to tales of power, to learn how to properly use this practice that will make you stronger. The 3 practical steps in question are faith, idea, and power. And in this case, these are precisely the steps of effective and efficient practice, not the abstract and unrealistic categories of some mysterious philosophy. After all, each of the 3 concepts, when properly understood, expands a person's perception and reveals their inner potential. The first step is faith. In the world of Carlos Castaneda, faith is not determined by a person's religion or cult. In a magical sense, faith is a conscious choice and expression of a deep inner predisposition to recognize that the world is diverse and incomprehensible, that it's an expression of the secret law that breathes life into everything, imbuing it with power. You may ask, what practical benefit can come from this awareness? This benefit consists of 2 fundamental facts that will allow you to find a solution in any situation. First, you are not just your personality with its problems and daily concerns. In fact, you are an unimaginable mystery that must be understood, and your possibilities are limited only by your perception. Captive to your personality, you have forgotten your potential, your changeability, and the infinity of self-expression. By becoming more aware of yourself than your social personality, you become able to see more broadly and perceive the world's connections more deeply than your everyday self. This means you are capable of resolving any issue in your life. Second, by believing in the power, you learn to consciously interact with it. At the same time, the accumulation of personal power and its direct impact on your life is determined by nothing other than the level of your perception, which, in turn, is constantly expanding thanks to personal power. This means that the more open and developed your perception, the greater the power you can wield. Try to grasp the key conclusion. When you believe in personal power, you control it and can accumulate it. Whether you are strong or weak is determined not by circumstances, but by your faith in personal power and the unimaginable mystery that is the foundation of the universe. This is why Don Juan taught Castaneda that upon entering the path of knowledge and becoming a man of knowledge, one must learn to believe that personal power exists and that it can be accumulated and controlled. In Carlos Castaneda's world, accumulating personal power is called strengthening the tonal. The tonal is our daily life and our personality. This means that by believing in power, in the one law that underlies everything and is the source of power, you can improve your life, making it harmonious, and integral. Another key point to understand is that the quality of your life depends on the quality of what you believe. You build your life through your faith, and you destroy your everyday life through disbelief in personal power. For example, you believe that the world is aggressive and cruel towards you. You attract into your life a power of the same quality, which makes your everyday life full of aggression and cruelty. The world gives you what you invest your attention in. If you believe that life is a struggle and cruelty, you will find confirmation of this at every step. Strength and energy come to those who choose order, clarity, and common sense, which are the foundation of a harmonious life. Conversely, being weak and feeling like a victim of circumstances is a conscious decision to ignore the power available to you to overcome the current challenge. Along with challenges, Spirit endows us with the power sufficient to overcome them. Here, you probably have another question. How exactly does faith in personal power improve life? People of knowledge see that each person consists of three interconnected structures: spirit, soul, and body. The spirit is the source of power. The body is the instrument for embodying the will of the spirit on earth. The soul is a conduit or a kind of bridge connecting spirit and body, the spiritual and material parts of life. Therefore, the wise ones say that the soul is the foundation of spiritual growth. This means that the nobler the soul, the more open it is, the more personal power it can channel. And here we come to the next question. How does such maturation occur? There is another very important trinity in the world of magic, which embodies the law by which the universes operate. This trinity is comprised of categories such as unity, beauty, and good. People of knowledge see that the soul develops and is ennobled when it believes in unity, loves beauty, and creates good. In the Old Slavic alphabet, the letter D was read as good and had one interpretation, meaning structure. In other words, in a profound sense, when the soul does good, it organizes life and creates structure. Through the harmony of structure, power flows from the spirit into a person's life, just as a full-flowing river flows along a strong channel. Faith and power ennobles the soul and brings order to any person's life. The second step of the threefold practice of attracting power is idea. Don Juan told Castaneda that the most difficult step on the path of apprenticeship is the very first step, which consists of accepting the idea that the world is not as we perceive it. On a practical level, this explains why learning is most difficult at the beginning of the path of knowledge. This is because our attention is focused on the idea that the world is static and already fully described by our perception. To begin learning, we must begin to question the ideas that guide us. Otherwise, the process of contact with knowledge will not occur. We will simply see the world through the familiar patterns and stereotypes of our beliefs, rather than open ourselves to the new and unknown. We perceive ideas through our senses and focus on them through our thoughts. In other words, we interact with ideas through the nagual, that part of the soul that allows us to connect with our inner, unmanifested nature, and which is usually ignored in everyday life. An idea is the product of our faith and the form in which this faith is imprinted on our nagual, the subtlest layers of the soul. An idea carries exactly the same qualities as the object of our faith. This directly implies that it is our faith that shapes the image of our soul. Faith, through ideas, reveals the nagual in the mind, allowing our hidden inner essence to emerge. Faith in the power forms ideas in the soul, behind which lies the force, and our nagual becomes more manifest. You might ask, how can I apply this knowledge in practice? We are all well aware that unhealthy foods weaken our bodies. Likewise, a lack of faith in personal power and its existence creates empty and vague ideas in our souls that lead nowhere. Such ideas are a poor diet for the soul. It thus becomes weak and vulnerable, and this is why we have trouble manifesting the nagual and have virtually no experience interacting with it in everyday life. Avoid anything that lacks power. anything that poisons your soul with empty ideas that weaken your tonal and deprive you of faith in personal power. Concentrate on accumulating free energy learning and interacting with powerful ideas, and the power will respond to your call. Let's take a closer look at what a powerful idea means. Essentially, a powerful idea is one that inspires you, gives meaning to your life, develops common sense and sobriety, and fosters the ability to easily face unforeseen circumstances on your path. In Castaneda's world, this skill is called discipline. An example of a powerful idea is the understanding that the world is not a static material structure, but first and foremost a conglomerate of energy flows that is shaped by human perception. Another powerful idea is the understanding that a person is not simply a taxpayer and citizen of a particular state on earth, but an embodied spirit, a brother or sister to the suns, planets, and stars, an ally of the gods, and the support of all humanity. Globally, a person is a citizen of the heavenly state. Such ideas are far removed from a sense of self-importance if they are based on faith in the power of unity and a love of beauty. Beauty always serves unity, and expressing faith in unity is always an act of beauty. Through powerful ideas, your soul takes on a refined and noble form. Your nagal opens up and becomes part of your life, making it deep, whole, and full of meaning. The third stage of the practice of attracting power is the power itself. Personal power responds to your faith and manifests in your life through the ideas that it truly exists and can be controlled. The quality of power in our lives depends on the quality of what we believe, as well as the ideas that dominate our consciousness. In practical terms, this means that if our lives are chaotic, weary, exhausted, and suffering, then the real problem lies in our idea of the world in which such a life is possible. In this case, we begin to sincerely believe that this destructive state of affairs is an integral part of our lives. This faith attracts power, which we expend on maintaining disorder because our personal power has qualities that push us toward disorder. For example, we believe that the world is a food chain in which the strong devour the weak, in which there is a predator and there must be a prey. We become imbued with the idea that in this world of predators, we must fight to secure a coveted place in the sun. Otherwise, we risk being eaten. Then, we expend all our energy trying to find that place in the sun and biting anyone who encroaches on it. The forces within us that, with the right faith, could serve the peace, serve destruction. It is faith in the spirit and personal power that allows us to accumulate it and direct it creatively. By believing in unity, in the common origin of all life, we become capable of loving beauty and we learn to do good, becoming the best version of ourselves. Your next question might be, how do we accumulate power? The answer to this question is linked to another profound question. What quality of power should we accumulate in our lives? We accumulate the power of goodness and peace within ourselves by creating good in our lives through powerful ideas that ennoble our souls. We do this based on our faith in the unity of life throughout the universe. In practice, this means that we must organize our lives, improve our personality and character, eliminating vices, and recognize ourselves as part of the one pulse of life, the rhythm of which drives the spiritual evolution of every living being. As one wise man once said, we cannot live better unless we ourselves become better. This means that personal power is accumulated by those who believe in the power and its creative impulse. Friends, for those who want to start practicing connecting with their personal power, we've prepared a gift, a simple and clear guide with 10 ideas that block the flow of personal power into your life. In this short but effective guide, you'll find an explanation of why you're actually tired, learn about 10 energy-draining popular ideas, learn how to diagnose how dominant these ideas are in you, and learn how to eliminate unnecessary ideas from your life. To get the guide, follow the link in the video description and start accumulating your personal power now. When we connect with the power, it doesn't mean we become better than someone else or that our life becomes easier. It means that we begin to see every problem as a challenge from Spirit. We see that if a challenge arises in our lives, the power given us by Spirit already exists within us and will enable us to overcome it. This implies that we accept full responsibility for our lives and make the right choices, backed by power. For example, if we want to be surrounded by kind and compassionate people, we must make the right choice and become kind and compassionate ourselves. If we are dissatisfied with our current position and are hoping for a better one, we need to learn and understand how we can do our job better. If we make the wrong choice, we become disillusioned. This is a weak position that weakens our soul and deprives us of faith in personal power. A person is born to be strong and happy, and ultimately, to become such, we have no other path than faith in personal power. Friends, write in the comments which ideas you think drain your energy and which inspire you. And be sure to download our guide with 10 ideas that block your personal power by following the link in the video description. People became weak because they stopped believing in personal power. After all, accumulating personal power is first and foremost a matter of faith that personal power exists, that it can be accumulated, and that it can be controlled. When a person learns to believe in personal power, ideas come to them that are rooted in power, ideas that ennoble their soul and reveal their inner potential. Thus, by recognizing their energetic nature, with faith in unity, and with the heart filled with love for beauty, a person learns to do good and creates the world they've always dreamed of living in.